is Pinball Podcast. My mom's gonna talk now. Episode 31. Booyah!
Guys, the next thing that I need to tell you about, and I hope that you are ready for this, is the fucking Trash Talkers Invitational. So after the main event on Saturday, after the finals ended, this is like 10 o'clock at night, the Trash Talker Invitational started. So Chuck Webster, Chuck, you're the best. He was like the guy who kind of put all this thing together. The winner got this really awesome trash can trophy. It was so freaking fun. He organized everything, and so all of us after the finals were like meeting over at like, you know, in this one area, and we were going to be playing some pinball. So, you know, Chuck is like, okay, here's the rules, gives us the rules, and it was basically the same format as the main tournament, except it was much smaller. So we played one round of 4 games, and there were 4 people in each group. So all the groups are getting called, and everybody's got their ringers. And, I mean, the ringers were, like, freaking ridiculous. I mean, like, there were supposed to be rules, I think, about, like, you know, not having any of the top, like, 20 people in the world as ringers. I guess that would be, like, you know, a really nice thing to do if you had that. But, you know, I don't know. There was a little bit of shady business with ringers. For example, I happened to be playing with someone named David Raymondson. And he wore a fake mustache, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So, but the caliber of players was awesome. So, of course, I'm sitting here, and I am, like, shitting bricks, honestly. I am not afraid to talk trash, but holy shit was I intimidated. I'm not even kidding. So, turns out that, like, in the end, my group was the last one to be called. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is great. Like, you know, maybe I'll play with, like, Bruce or Ron, who I know can kick my ass. But, like, whatever. I was like, oh, yeah, you know, at least they're, like, you know, normal people. So in the end, here was my group. I was with Steve Bowden. I was like, okay, you know, he's, like, 4 billion times the pinball player that I am, but I know him. So, and I know he's, like, super nice. So, okay, this I'm going to consider a win, right? Then there is this, like, really shady character with this fake mustache on named David Raymondson. We're going to call that an alias, guys. So change around a few letters there and see if you can figure out who else was in my group. He happened to come in 5th in the entire Pinburg tournament. Yeah, 5th. Then we're paired up with, I'm paired up with this other guy named Adam. And I'm like, you know me, guys, like, I could walk up and, like, be standing next to George Gomez shooting the shit with him and not realize it was George Gomez. So, like, you know, it was kind of one of those, like, oh, yeah, it's like some dude named Adam. I'm like, you know, oh, Adam, where are you from? What's going on? I'm Sarah. It's nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it took a little while for me to figure this out, but within maybe like 10 minutes of realizing that he was in my group, I look up at, like, there are these banners hanging on the one, like, railing of the upper area of the conference center, and it's like 2012 winner, 2013, 14, and everyone who has won the Pinburg Tournament Division A finals has his name on a giant banner. And I'm like, oh, that's, like, real nice. Like, oh my gosh, what great recognition. So I'm looking up there and I'm just, like, checking it out, and all of a sudden I see, like, 2012 Pinburg winner, Adam Becker. Adam motherfucking Becker. Do you think I knew who Adam Becker was? No, I had no fucking clue, because I don't know. I don't know these things. So my group in the TTI, to sum it all up, was Raymond Davidson, Steve motherfucking Bowden, and fucking Adam Becker. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I am so fucked. I don't even know. I texted Dr. Pin like halfway through the first game, and I'm like, I think we should just leave. I think we should just go. I am so intimidated over here. I was freaking out, legit, like, kind of freaking out. And so they're talking a lot of trash, and, you know, it was all good-natured fun. And so, you know, they were saying, like, oh, yeah, you know, it's too bad you don't know how to play pinball, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know, it's like water off a duck's back. No worries here. I like, whatever. I know who I am and how I play, and that's whatever. It's fine. So the first game, I get totally spanked. Like, I am talking, the score of my score was the lowest. The next lowest score was like 7 times my score. I was like, okay, great. super awesome. I'm just going to circle my score on this score sheet, and it is not a good score. Not a good score at all. So that's the first game, okay? Now, Chuck took a little bit of pity on me and did say that we had to play EM games because, as you know, they are the great equalizing games. Though when you have pinball skills enough to potentially win or actually win Pinburg, it's not really going to matter what machine they put you on. You're probably going to be better than me, okay? So they're giving me quite a bit of shit. It's the Trash Talkers Invitational after all, and I'm standing there and I'm just like, all right, made myself a fly swatter. It said, I made one for Laura Fraley and for Dr. Pintu. One of them said buzz off, one of them said take a hike, and one of them said shoe pest. So anytime anyone was really bothering me, I just whipped out my fly swatter. It was one of those like really cool retractable ones, and I would make it long, and then I would just like smack them or like smack around them so they would just go away and stop bothering me, right? So we go over to our second game, and I actually don't come in last place. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know how this happened, but I actually score 2 points. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better than I thought, because I just thought I would get no points ever, like ever. So score 2 points, and I'm like, oh my God, guys, look at that. I didn't come in last place. Wait, didn't you guys come in like 5th and 8th and 12th this year in Pinburg? I didn't even play, but if I had played, I probably would have come in like 834th. I just beat you. Too bad. So I gave a little bit back to them, not like extensive, but just, a little bit. And if you really want to see this, you can go on to the Trash Talkers Invitational Facebook page. They did like a live feed, and you can see some of the awesomeness, because let me just tell you that it gets a little awesome. So we move on to this next game. I don't even know what the heck it was called. It was Red. It was a Red old game. And I got to go second. We took turns going first, and we took turns picking the machines. And so I got to go second. And so I go up there, and I'm like, hitting the ball around, like flipping it and whatever. And I feel like I'm doing like okay. I feel like, I base how well I'm doing on how long my ball stays alive. And I have 2 tips when playing pinball. One of them is hit the thingy. And the other one is don't drain the ball. So, there's always something you're aiming for. There's always something that you're trying to hit. It's like a spinner, it's a scoop, it's a thingy, it's a big, Slimer in the middle of the Ghostbusters playing field. So it's something that you are trying to hit. So hit the thingy and don't drain are my 2 mottos during pinball. I think they're pretty good mottos. I'm just saying. So we get to this machine. I don't even know what it was, some older machine. And we start playing. And my first ball, I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel like I did okay. I did pretty well. I lasted up here. I hit a bunch of really cool loops. I felt like, on these older machines, you're getting points when you go over like the rollover, like little wires that you roll over and they give you points, right? So I knew I was hitting a bunch of those. I knew I had hit a couple good loops in a row, and I hit this one left loop like 3 or 4 times right in a row consecutively. I just had the feeling, like you just feel. I knew right where to push the flipper, and I just felt like I did a really good job. So I feel like I'm doing pretty well, and then I look at my scores, and I the first time that I noticed it was actually when Raymond looked up at the scoreboard, and I had gone, and I think Adam Becker had gone, and so I was in the number 2 scoring spot, right? And I look up, and all of a sudden, I'm like, holy fucking shit. Is that my score? Are you freaking serious? And Raymond legitimately did a double take. It was the best freaking thing I've ever seen. He could not have been more surprised if I came up and hit him in the face with a brick. Truly. It was the best feeling ever. So I look up, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, Adam Becker, Adam Becker of that flag hanging up there. Remember how you were telling me that I was a really bad pinball player? I was like, I'm going to use any excuse I can. So I knew that probably he would catch me in the balls to come. But I was like, I'm beating him right now, so I'm going to shove it right in his face, because he kind of shoved it in mine. And I was like, Adam, Oh my God, I don't know anything about pinball. Could you just tell me? I mean, aren't high numbers better than low numbers? Because my number is like 4 times your number. Like, eek! So it was hysterical. It was the best feeling ever. So then Steve plays, then Raymond plays, and long story short, in the end, guess who fucking won the game? It was me. It was me. So I'm staying there and I'm just like, oh my God. I was shaking. I was so freaking excited. I got 5 points, the most points that you could get. And I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, where's Dr. Pin? So I find Dr. Pin. I'm like, oh my God, Dr. Pin. These guys I'm playing with have kind of been like, giving me a little trash talk. Okay, it's the Trash Talker Invitational. That's fine. Okay, I can hang. But, gosh, babe, like David Raymondson, and Adam motherfucking Becker, and Steve Bowden, and guess who just spanked them? It was me, guys. It was me. Oh my God, I stole Chuck Webster. Sorry, I forgot to tell you this. I don't think you're going to be mad, but if you are, I can take a copy. I stole my score sheet at the end of the 4 rounds. I ended up with, so the most points you could get was 20 if you came in first in all 4 of your games, 5 points per game. I ended up, I want to say, with 12 points against Steve Bowden, Adam Becker, and Raymond Davidson. I am still shaking with joy. I am so freaking excited. I held my own. I was so proud of myself. I know it was probably a fluke, but I don't fucking care because I beat them all. And it was so legit. And I don't know. I mean, all of them were a little bit shocked, but Raymond, his face was fucking priceless. Like, I want to write one of those priceless commercials. Like, 4 pinball machines to play on. $4,000. A score sheet and a pen with which to write. $5. Beating the motherfucking pants off of 3 of the best pinball players in the world and watching their faces when you do it. Priceless. Motherfucking priceless. It was so good. I know I'm going on and on, but honestly, it was the best freaking feeling ever. So it just goes to show you guys, I kept saying to Martin and I kept saying to Laura Fraley, like, don't give up until the 3rd ball is finished, because all it takes is 1 ball. Because at the end of my first ball, I tilted. So I didn't even get my bonus, because when you tilt on these older machines, your bonus goes away, and that's where the big points are. So I didn't even get my bonus. Then I had a home ball, and then my last ball was like, normal Mrs. Pin, like I lasted like 2 minutes ball. So I just don't even know. It was the best. It was the best feeling. I was like, oh, this is like karma. It is coming back at you, boys, and I am here to play. Damn. Booyah. It was so freaking amazing. So in the end, the Mrs. Pin team did a really great job. We didn't come in last place, which I was like super psyched about. And it was just amazing. We ended up, Laura Fraley ended up in a group with Carl D'Angelo. I think his name's Carl D'Angelo. He's the nicest guy ever. He wore a Womp headband through the entire TTI because Martin made him, because Martin's the best. And he is the guy out in California who runs the Indisc tournament, which is another really huge tournament every year that is put on, and lots of people go and travel to California from all over the world to play in. So Laura Fraley had an Adam Becker moment and didn't know that this was Carl D'Angelo, and didn't realize that this was the Carl that she was playing with. It was the freaking cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. She was so embarrassed. I'm sorry I'm telling this story, Laura, but I have to. And it was just like, Carl was so freaking sweet. He was so flattered. He was so freaking cute. It was the cutest thing ever. And all of us played great games, and I was just so freaking excited and proud to be there. And we had so much fun. Even though we did not win, Marty's team ended up winning. He had Carl D'Angelo for one of his ringers and David Peck for the other one of his ringers. So he had some serious muscle. And Marty himself is no slouch when it comes to playing pinball. It's like really hard for me to think about picking a favorite part of this amazing weekend, but I think that the TTI takes the edge for me because the whole experience was so awesome. And afterwards, OMG, totally forgot.
So, Trash Talker Invitational Money. I mean, we haven't talked about it every single week like other podcasts have been, boasting and talking about how they're going to wipe the floor, and Jeff Teola saying, oh, I'm not going to enter, it's beneath me, and I am going to enter, and I'm going to rename these people because I can't compete myself, and I'll get Raymond Davis in the world's #1 player. So, and I'm going to get Adam Becker and all these, super top players. So, Marty, how did you go? Did you have any last minute issues?
What a loaded question that is. So, look, I did. So, here the criteria really was for my team, you had to be on the show. And if you were Australian and or New Zealand, then there's the double whammy. So I formed my group, and it was David Peck, Rhoda Dave, that's been on the show, and Jimmy Nails, that's been on the show twice. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Jimmy had to pull out at the last minute as a friend of his from in the States was only going to be there for a couple of hours, and it was during the Trash Talker, so he bowed out. So what was a guy to do? To look around and say, right, who else has been on our show that could come on?
That is here in front of me right now.
That is here, standing right in front of me, and is called Carl D'Angelo. So... it was really funny because I asked Carl, and Carl's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Ryan, this was the funniest thing. And he was like, oh, really? I don't know. And I'm like, come on. And he's like, oh, really? I don't know. And then I'm like, look, honestly, mate, you don't really know. You don't really have to. He's like, oh, but I do. It was the opposite of what I was doing. So in the end, I kind of just went, look, mate, don't worry about it, man. If you want to, you can, but, it's no big deal.
Negative.
He was in.
Yeah.
It was weird. The opposite. It was so freaking funny.
Marty, you used negative reinforcement on his ESP abilities.
I did. It was reverse psychology.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So that was funny. So we ended up, our team was myself, David, and Carl. And how it worked was, it was myself and 3 other people in a group. Then one of my ringers had their group, and the other ringer had their group, and you played 4 games, match play. The scores for each of the games were coming first was 5 points, then 3, then 2, then 1. And what's meant to happen is, as you're playing your ball, the other people in your group, and I'll stress the other people in your group, are meant to heckle you, okay, or do whatever they can to distract you from getting a good score.
Okay.
And here's what happened. And that's probably what would have happened all night, except one thing.
Okay.
And that was, the first game we played was Dialed In, picked by Nick from Buffalo Pinball fame. Mm-hmm. So my group was from Nick from Buffalo Pinball, Jeff Teolis from Pinball Profile, and Bruce Nightingale from Slam Tour Podcast. My first ball on Dialed In was probably close to 1 million, mm-hmm, and went for so long that they walked away.
Okay.
They actually walked away because none of what they were doing was having any effect on me.
You stream and drink. You're used to all the distractions, Marty.
You know what I mean? This is it, right? It's like, guys, do your best because this is my wheelhouse right here. So I ended up on, I think, 2.2 million. So that game, in fact, right at the end, they said, please, just drain the ball so we can move to the next game because everybody's finished their round. We're still in our first game.
That's great trash talking, guys.
So well done. And that's pretty much what happened. I think the next game I didn't do so well. I can't remember what it was. And then we had, F-14 Tomcat, whatever it is. And bottom line is, I think I might have had 12 points in my team. Carl D'Angelo.
Yes.
How many points do you think he got? Out of a possible 20 points.
15?
20.
Oh, no.
He won every single one of his games. And
Nice.
I think David Pick might have got 11 points, so that's very respectable as well. So then you add up the three sheets.
Yep.
So my 12 points, Dave's 11 points, and Carl's 20 points. And then the top 4 podcasts then get into the finals, and whoever is the podcaster that represents them
Yep.
is in the finals.
Okay. So no... okay, nice. And who are you in there with?
So it was me.
Yeah.
It was Jeff from the Pinball Players podcast.
Yep.
It was Taylor from this flipping podcast.
He's huge. I would not want to get into an argument with him.
No, he's pretty buff. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And we had Nick from Buffalo Pinball.
Okay.
And I'll tell you one thing about this trash talker is it's not meant to be taken seriously. The actual tournament itself.
Yep.
But the thing to know that I don't know whether they did it last year, but there was also a really good cause as well. So there was also money being raised for a charity of choice.
50 bucks each?
Well, not just that. Like I put $50 US in, but so did other people. But other people just started putting more and more money in.
Okay.
So all up, there was $620 US raised.
Nice.
And the winner got to choose a charity that it would go to. And also, Scott from Pin Stadium also donated a set of Pin Stadium lights to go to a pinball charity of choice.
Nice. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thanks to everybody for donating, because $620 US is pretty good. So do you know what? I can't even remember what the games were that we played. There was an EM that I came first. Then we played. You played
that EM twice, I think. I was watching it on the stream. The second time there was just cash all over the glass. Oh, okay.
It's a different game.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
I picked High Roller Casino as my game, just
Why?
to shit everybody. And everyone was like, "Why have you picked this?" I'm like, "Shits and giggles." I came third.
Okay. Backfired.
So basically, I won the first game, came third on the second game, won the third game, and then the final game, I think it was like an EM, and at that stage they put all the cash over the machine so you couldn't see the flippers.
Yeah.
I absolutely destroyed everyone.
Yes, I saw that. But you knew how to time your shots, and then when you didn't know, you were just kind of flipping left, right, left, right, left, right. It was a good strategy.
Yep. It worked well. So I won.
Nice.
I won, and I got a big trash can filled with all the money.
Please tell me you're going to bring that home and put it on your little trophy cabinet.
I can't be able to get through customs. There's no way. But no, so I chose Beyond Blue, which is an Australian charity that assists people with depression and suicide prevention, particularly in men who find it very difficult to express their feelings and do suffer from depression as well.
That's an Aussie trait, right? Aussie men keeping their feelings inside. So it's a great charity.
It is a great charity. So it was actually kind of good that we got to give it to an Australian charity, and my Pin Stadium lights went to Project Pinball.
And I saw
they were stoked.
Yeah, I saw the post by Project Pinball, and they said Martin and Chuck Webster run a podcast. I didn't even bother saying anything. I just thought that was hilarious.
Yep, that's right. I didn't bother correcting them.
Chuck Webster, join in. He can be the new host. Chuck Webster, you bastard. Thanks also to Chuck Webster for organising that. That was
it was such a fun tournament.
He didn't really organise it. He was just the representative of the committee.
He was just one of the committee members, but he did apologise for the other committee members not being able to make it on the night, which was a shame.
who would pick this piece of shit game?
That's what I've been saying. I've had to play Swords of Fury.
It's a shit tournament.
It is.
There you go.
Well, it's thematic. It's very thematic.
Why are you playing pinball?
I'm
He
hosting.
can't. Have you seen his scores in
Well,
Intergalactic?
it's because you're garbage.
He sucks ass unless it's Kiss.
You're just bad at pinball.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, what the hell, Chuck? What a choke job. You put up the number 2 score and you just can't even come close to qualifying?
I had to run this tournament.
What did you have to do?
I just
You know
played
what
one
it
for
is?
900,000.
You had to hit print.
If Chuck dropped targets the way he drops ours, he'd be a much better pinball player.
Right. I agree.
He's good at holding a phone, though.
I am. I'm very good at holding the phone.
Yeah, you're doing great.
I think you want to report the sign of weakness here, eating during the tournament.
Hey, there's no eating in the tournament unless you offer it to some pizza to the tournament director.
I'm supporting this flipping podcast.
All right.
I got support local. They just asked about hiring a teenager to do my trash talk, and I said, yep.
There you go. There you go.
The guy with the beard. Oh, like the tight beard. The tight beard.
The guy with the beard, I punch you right in the face.
Get it this way. Get me in here. What was his name? You know who he is.
Maybe beard.
Extra check. You want to see something funny?
That's supposed to grandpa.
These guys are horrendous at Mustang. Like, it's comical to watch them flail away. Like, I feel bad for them. I do feel bad. Because, like, you can see they're trying hard. They're trying hard, but they're so bad at Mustang. Like, oh, I'm going to use my flipper to hit a ramp. This idiot can't do shit. Oh, shit.
That was a big fucking
Mustang
He wishes that he knew where the multi-ball shot was because he just passed it up.
I think Mitch set you up for that one.
Oh, look at this. 2 balls.
Outlanes double your score.
3 balls. The next
All
three
outlanes, baby. All outlanes.
4 balls, is it? 4 balls? Oh, yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Don't need to create a
Like
lot.
Torpedo Alley. I changed my
Real
game.
game.
Torpedo Alley.
Oh, super jackpot.
That's the worst. Get out.
Oh, that's sneaky. That's sneaky.
So you're allowed to strap, but I'm not, huh? Oh! The foam posts. Those are worth nothing, but style points. Oh man, that would have won it for me actually. 2x bonus.
Josh, how you doing?
Very well, thank you.
I know you're Jackie.
You know what to do here? Nope. Good. Left. I'm sorry, right. No, it's right. Yeah, you go right for that left shot. Right up there. I think you need the hair. Oh, you drained badly.
Hot streak all day, baby. street all day, baby. A lot of fucking hot street again. You got 6X too, master. But you know what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Canada sucks. Free healthcare is not really free, douchebag. Yeah. We don't have any Trumps. Sorry. Are you? It's live.
It's live.
Is anybody actually watching this?
Probably not. But it'll be on video, so people might watch it later.
All right, there you go.
I'll watch it later.
Take a picture. We played.
What was that?
Picture. What did we play?
Oh, you want to pin it?
Oh, you Crystal. Respectable. That's me, right? That's me. All right. He has a medallion. Yes. Hello. You need a dollar for this?
This is the finals of the podcast of Bloodbath. This is Flippin' Podcast, Pinball Players Podcast, Buffalo Pinball, head-to-head already.
It is too bright over here. But now I have
Is that a dollar game, kid?
because you failed me.
Oh! All right, Nick. Come on, Nick. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. We surf all the time at Buffalo. This is going to be good. All right, here we go. All right. Look at that stance. Here we go. The hair is a little crazy. He's the only one wearing cargo shorts. He's got the advantage. Oh! No, he doesn't. I only need 2 more. Wait for 10 seconds. That's all we need. Wait, how is he in this? He'd have quarters if he had listeners, you know? I think it's cute how you guys all fight over the same 5 listeners.
You're hitting the flippers really soft. You're very soft.
That's good. The sleeves are on the post. Oh, nice, man. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, points? What's crazy is those fucking outlays, man. It's the other fucking time. It's okay.
That's great.
That was everybody.
Hi.
Ryan, say, here we are.
Where's the headband?
I know, that's bullshit.
Hey, Ryan's watching.
Come
Come on, headband. Ryan's talking shit on the stream. So it's still kind of curving your head there.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that was an insert save right here.
Oh, what the hell was that?
Oh, man.
Hey, wait, Jeff. Make it interesting. So bad, so sweet. No bad loss. Oh, come on!
This is getting really weird.
Make it interesting.
Oh, no! This is the only thing I have for Pinburn. This is it.
Don't take away all his hopes and nothing else.
I didn't know they gave us up. Nice. No. You got it. That's not good going out the middle. That's not good. I thought it was going to. All right. Tell thing is failing. Wait, just show that off to the camera real quick. Rich kid! No dollar bills, yo!
Are you gonna take a nap? What's going on?
Take your time.
Very good.
Help.
Yeah, good job.
Alright, points. That's tough. That's tough. You can do both. You're better than Ryan C. He's fucking overrated, dude.
Hey, Nick.
Look at this quality hat. Ryan C.
Nick. Ryan C. just said, eat a sandwich on the stream.
We can't all
Dude,
be
he's
his
36 hours away. What's he gonna do?
We can't all be all Mr. Man with their swag.
I like you guys. He leaves his co-host here to fend for himself, you know? What kind of co-host is that?
Taylor is really good.
He mentioned he doesn't even come out there who works out.
Oh, for sure.
Do you even lift, bro?
When you're done using, you can put the award in your messenger bag and bring it up to home.
He's getting some bits out of that. We're increasing his bits.
Who's up?
Jeff Parsons. Oh, right. Sorry, I'm actually hugging Shield. I don't know why.
He was hugging it out.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for
I'll
coming.
be back tomorrow if you are.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll talk to you then.
He's not going to stay and interview somebody?
Oh, you guys suck.
All right, Nick, come on.
Chuck just goes, you guys suck. He just said, you guys suck. No. Coaching.
Coaching's allowed. There's no rule against coaching.
Before play is okay. What is it? Before play. Before play is okay.
Coaching is wrong. He's all about foreplay before their shows.
That is going out.
It's so good. How do you do that?
I know you guys foreplay is okay. Are there any rules in this?
I love it.
That was good.
Where's the talent?
He's gone. He went to bed. He's not been playing too well today. That was nice.
That was good. That's not the best. You know.
God.
Yes.
Whoa.
You need double jerk?
It's a game.
The messenger bag's coming on. That's not bad. Oh, shit. Usually 17 sucks, but that's not bad in this close.
They're pretty close. 17,840 and 17,730.
For winning? Did we get anything? Jeff
Where's Jeff Diolis? He left.
Hey, he lost and left. He just ran out of the hall.
There's the real attention. Can you go widescreen to catch that? Merciless. Oh! He had it gone. Good job, good effort. You don't have to explain yourself, Patrick. I'm sorry.
I'm a star. Look at that.
I did. Oh, okay. Mark is the fucking dark horse in this tournament. I thought he was rich. He did not fucking come here to fuck that up. He got no, they're just fooled by the You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it, man. Look at that. There it is. Look at that shot.
Look at that fucking shot. God damn it!
Where's my Vegemite?
You really want it? That's scary, that's scary. People don't know where it comes from.
You gotta lay your rooster egg right on there?
Yeah.
The glass after that?
No! Oh, that's worse. How'd you guys get that far? Who got that far? Man, you got the fly kicks too.
It's like he's not even wearing pants, you can't see him.
Jay, whose team are you on? It's like
I'm here to shit talk everybody. I'm
like
being
a goddamn
confident
me. You're shit talking me. It's fucking simple shit.
That helps with play better.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. You're beating me.
All right, last ball.
I can't beat Harvey. He's my speaker. You might look us strong.
Is that kangaroo or wallaby?
This is part of the recording process.
I don't know. That's still happening. Oh, the intensity on his face. So much salt. They're gonna make out. He's gonna be out. Oh, look at this.
Excuse my language.
No, quite enough.
Your language is fine.
That was good. That's gonna do it.
There's a lot of salt in this. What do we got? I think it's done.
Yeah, I'm gonna help everyone out.
He's gonna kick us out soon.
I'm up to 2, I don't think.
Yeah, they'll kick us out soon.
Everybody's players.
Oh my god! I don't know how you do it. Fucking crushing it. He lives on the goal. He has to run away from dingoes on his way to work. It's actually true. What is up with dingoes? I heard about kangaroos. That's true. He spent $20,000. Get in there! Yes! You got groupies, we really do want to go to bed. Like, some of us are old. You got it. Just got it. Just drain.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. It's good.
Drain.
Good.
Just drain already.
Yeah.
Way more shameful.
They playing with their dinner, Marty?
Trash off your window.
That's it. Thank God already.
Round boss. Alright, I'll make this quick.
Alright, come on. Come on.
Score to beat
Come
75,
on, pinball
130.
player. Be a pinball player.
30,690, 75, 130. Jeff has 11,000. He's got some work to do.
Guy. That was good.
He needs to light some of those lights up.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good power lane. Not bad. I don't know about you, but I just shoot my pants right now. That was great. I did not do anything. Oh! Oh, those slings. Those fucking slings. God, I'm fucking nervous. That was I'm nervous right now. Just fucking drain because I can't take this anymore.
His spinner's lit.
If I think if you drain, you collect your bonus, which is that's true. It's true. It's a good move.
Get in there.
It's the muscle. Oh, that was the most. Come on! hips.
Tack it back in, get it back in, get it back in.
No, you're not supposed to hit the post.
He's gonna do it.
Exactly. He's gonna catch me.
You got it.
He's gonna catch me. He's gonna
Tilt, 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 tilt.
get some shadow.
God, tilt, tilt, tilt.
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. I'm impressed. You made one t-shirt. Potentially second pass. He made one t-shirt. I guess I got
That sucked. That sucked. I got
Do you get money for third place? Do you get money for third place, Taylor? I don't think so. Listen. Oh. Not millennial.
Who won? Oh. You don't have $1?
Time for biscuits?
Are you giving us up?
I want the little things. But that's all I got.
One.
Biscuits.
Player.
Making it rain.
There's $12. Here you go, have
Mark, your pick. There's full there.
Are we doing the making
Doing charity? All right.
No, I already got your money. Oh no, it's somebody else's money.
I'm gonna walk out here with the greatest. I'm gonna have like my name up, like I wrote bad checks. Listen, I'll take one
All
back.
right, guys, you ready? Let's have some high roller casino.
Oh my god.
Where's he going?
This is for the charity. Yeah, the charity. Here, put it in the box. Where's the box?
All right.
Put it in the box.
You got it. Oh, High Roller Casino. We're kicking you off.
Oh, you guys play
This is the podcast of Bloodbath. Yeah. You mind if we kick you off?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. This is Brian. He's a friend of mine, so he's cool.
Will you be my ringer? Like, will you play for me?
That's right.
Sure.
He's gonna play. He's gonna play for me.
He's gonna play for you. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna play for me.
All right.
So you're player. We're
got-
gonna be player 4.
We got a substitution. We got Brian coming in.
All right, I'm gonna have to look up how to play this game.
He tagged him
Don't
in.
worry about it. It's all
He
for
tagged him
charity.
in. It's in the rules.
Tag in. Tag in. Boom. We're ready. I'm Taylor. You are now my ringer.
That's we'll see how it works out.
It's okay. At this point, it doesn't matter. Watch this guy play. He knows what's going on.
All right, but roll and win. Use the clippers to decide.
What's that hat for you? I wear these. Sweet. Is that how you play the game? It is. Oh. That wasn't so But all right, I closed my eyes. Yeah, I didn't make playoffs with you, but I got
I don't know. Alright. I'm gonna talk about
Alright, you do that.
I'm worried about those sex lines.
What was the casino game?
I'm worried about that train.
It's a casino game.
You should probably let it bounce.
What was the casino game?
Would it kill you to let it fucking bounce past?
Yeah, I know. Like, but still, the casino game. I want to know what it was. Like, you actually won a casino game, but nothing happened.
You're like the second best Jeff on a podcast. I don't see the other one in this.
You are certainly top 10 starting with a J.
What the hell kind of slot machine is this?
Big points, man.
Don't. It's very scary when it comes out. Don't. Oh, yes.
Look it up.
Oh, you nasty.
Oh!
Wow.
Let's do this.
No, come pay attention. Yeah, all right. What are you doing, Nick? What are you doing? Shoot the roulette.
Go to green.
Don't you guys do tutorials while you're doing your thing? Pretend there's a camera on you right here.
We need Martha here going.
There is a camera on him right there.
He's right at home. So what do you want to do? You want to hit this?
Oh my God! This is like I'm being in the TV. This is like Willy Wonka shit.
This is Willy
Do you want
Wonka.
to be the guest for tonight?
Let's fuck up some children.
You can be the guest.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Not fucking.
Oh, yeah. Hot.
Is that good? Slot machine?
That's a good tutorial. I feel. Oh, you hit the slot machine. All right, good. Can you ask some questions while I do this? Can you steal locks? I have a question.
That's a good
You
question.
cannot steal locks. You cannot steal locks.
What's the wizard mode?
I've never been to a casino. That's accurate. There we go.
The wizard mode is play something else.
Oh! Now we're just talking the game.
Early 2000s terms.
Stearns fast. Hey, at least the code is done.
Where's Gary? Can we get Gary in here? Yeah, for sure. This is the best game ever. That was like a perfect time. Who the fuck picked this game?
This guy.
Martin.
Australia.
This is the only thing they have in Australia. All right.
New boxer.
I can do anything at all. There's no guarantees here. It's okay. You got more hair than I do. You're doing better than I do. All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair.
You got a fucking pinch hitter?
Yeah. Because I represent. I don't know who's saying. How do you know the sweet ticket? We can come off the machine if somebody should like play for me. That's not it.
You drove here for 12 hours straight overnight.
I didn't. She basically did all the driving. I get no credit for the driving.
Why is she not the pinch hitter?
She should be the
Where'd
pinch
she
hitter.
go?
She's got shots. I don't know where she went. She went.
Just working the bathroom.
Where's it coming? Where's it coming? Here it's coming.
Oh! Danger!
Oh!
Danger.
15,000 bucks.
Center drain is it's got to go. Drain. That's good. That's good. Major malfunction.
Owen! You know what? Rob Muslim. No Bowen is here. Bowen is no Bowen is here. Bowen is annihilated. Total Bowen annihilation.
Oh, that wasn't the slot machine.
Most talented part of head-to-head is playing right now. How fucking sore is your back when you guys do a podcast?
Carrying him. has all of us. What?
I made it into intergalactic.
Oh, look at that. Him and his farming in-game too. That's why he's wrestling.
I'll see you tomorrow, Chuck.
Hi, Joe.
I made it into intergalactic.
It's like made. Was that?
I made it into intergalactic. I have to yeah, tied for last.